This is audience participation, guys. Ready? Intertwine your hands. Take a look at which thumb is on top, which thumb is underneath. If your right thumb is on top, then you have a very high IQ. No switches.
I am smart.
Let go and intertwine them the other way around. And how does that feel?
Weird.
Weird. Strange. Okay? Let's try just one more. Okay? Fold your arms like I normally fold them. And fold them the other way. How's that feel? Oh, really? Right? This guy over here, right? If your neighbor is falling asleep, right? Oh, he's awake now. How does this new way feel? Strange, different, right? So I had one young lady tell me the other day, that's just wrong. That's just wrong. So what's the point? What's the point? Besides an icebreaker, what do you think the point is with that little ditty? Anybody? Get out of your comfort zone. What else?
Show how we are conditioned.
How we're conditioned, yes, sir. All right. He's reading the. Funny when we read, what we learn. It's amazing. Okay, it can be taught. Good. So, how we got into habits? Different ways of doing it. Because why? Because we like it. We've always done it that way, right? By the way, how many of you all are here for credit versus you're really interested in the subject? Right, conversation versus convocation. Right, that's what I heard. All right, good. All right, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. All right, so, but habits. It's about doing things the way we've always done them because that's the way it is. And it's the same in leadership. And whether leadership is in the corporate environment or public sector, there's a lot of bad habits up there that people have fallen into. But let me ask you something. If I had you stay in the new way, okay, would we adapt to a new way of looking at things, a new way of doing things? Yes. Okay, so I challenge you as Pepperdine students because we have the principles here. The principles of servant leadership, leading lives of purpose. Freely receive, freely give. That makes us unique, and as future leaders, I charge you with doing things differently. And so tonight we're going to learn about what really good leaders do, and also how you can adapt. Because let me ask you something. Again, would we adapt to the new way of doing things? Yes, because we're highly adaptable creatures. In fact, so much so that a good friend of mine is named Nick Vesuvich. Has anybody ever heard of Nick Vesuvich? No? Okay, Nick, if he's on the chair, he stands about this tall on the chair. Okay? And the reason why he stands up this tall on the chair, he's got no legs. Okay, he's just from here up. Okay, and when he walks, he walks on his hips. And I remember one time I accompanied him to a presentation, and ladies and gentlemen, Nick Vesuvich, right? And I'm clapping at him. Right? And he's looking at me and he says, you can help me on stage? And totally like, oh my God. How else is he going to get up there, right? So, I came over, picked him up, and, took him on stage and they had him on an altar. Okay, and so he walked back and forth on the altar. So he has adapted, and he does that in his ministry, is talking to folks about overcoming adversity. Wow. Has he adapted? Yeah. By the way, guess what his favorite sport is? You'll never guess. Track. No. Swimming. Swimming. How do you swim when you got no legs? Okay? Well, he just, and he fills his pool up to about this much, and so when he gets to the steps, he goes over and he rolls out of the pool. And then that's the way he has to do it. Has he adapted? Yes. Because we're highly adaptable creatures. Yeah, that's survival instinct. Remember Hurricane Katrina? That 88-year-old woman that 14 days with her, water up to her neck? She lived. She adapted. Okay? And so as we're looking at these things, we have to take a look at adapting new ways of looking at things. So usually when we think about diversity, we think about race, we think about ethnicity. But diversity has to do with, write these down, age. Has to do with socioeconomic status. Intimacy zones. Some cultures, they don't want to be close to you. Okay? For example, in some Asian cultures, you need at least 3 feet to be able to bow, right? And not knock heads. Right? Versus Middle East, you want to be close. I want to feel the soul of your breath. Whether it's that breath or not, I want to feel your soul, right? The only thing you don't want to do in the Middle East is show them your feet, the bottom of your feet. Because the bottom of your feet is an insult. It says, you're not even worthy to be the dust on the bottom of my feet. Y'all remember when they took the statue down of Saddam Hussein? Right? What were the people doing with their shoes? Right? Or even that person that threw a shoe at poor President Bush. Right? Ouch. All right, so Middle Eastern tradition. So tradition is different. Okay? How about the way we talk? Some groups, they take turns. Some groups, they all talk at once. Loud, right? From our culture, we're like, oh, it's like, how can you, my wife says to me, how can you guys follow a conversation? And so it just is. And so part of the adapting stuff is that we don't judge. We just enjoy the moment, and then we ask questions, and we observe what's going on, because what may be odd to somebody may not be odd to another person. And so that's diversity. But in a workplace, we want to value diversity, because the more diverse that we have, the more diverse folks that we have, the more ideas and the more points of views that we're going to have. However, is it going to cause conflict? Yes. How we manage that conflict is the key. All right? Because there's good conflict and bad conflict. Good conflict. Change. Okay? Innovation. We don't like that. Right? Doing our homework. We don't like that. But you know what? Sometimes we got to do the things that we got to do when we got to do them, so that we can do the things that we want to do when we want to do them. Yeah. Right? One more time. Some things we got to do the things that we got to do when we got to do them, so that we can do the things that we want to do when we want to do them. Right? Okay, write that one down. All right, so anyway, those are just some of the dimensions of diversity that as a leader, we have to manage. Leaders look for innovative ways to improve the organization, and managing that diversity is part of that process of change. The other thing is that effective leaders, number one, inspire a shared vision. Leaders passionately believe that they can make a difference. And you've got to sell that vision. I got 2 stories. The stories of 2 CEOs. But before I do that, let's review. What are the 5 leadership principles? Number 1, inspire a shared vision. Number 2, empower folks. Number 3, model the way. Number 4, challenge the status quo. If it ain't broke, break it. Lee Iacocca said, if the both of us say yes, one of us is not needed. Oh, you see? Challenge the process. And number 5, quack. Encourage each other. It's very important. So, the tale of 2 CEOs. On the one hand, there's John, his real name. I had the unfortunate experience of working with him earlier this year. John is very egocentric. John kills the messenger. There's no ideas. There are good ideas other than John's. He manages his business by fear and intimidation. He has a closed-door policy. If you want to see me, make an appointment. Is that a good leader? What do you think is going to happen? How will people remember him when he dies? When he moves to the next phase of life, as we say? On the other hand, there's Dave. All right, his real name. I had the pleasure of working with Dave for the past 2 years. Dave is a Jewish man over in Dominguez Hills that has a printing company. Dave has an open door policy. You can go to Dave with any idea. He says, oh, great idea. But you know what? Not a great idea now, but let's take a look at it. Dave had some ideas on how to change his work environment. He showed me plans and everything. But Dave said, you know what? I'm not going to impose these on my people. I'm going to let them problem solve. And if they come anywhere near close, I'm going to let them do it. Because it's not about me. He says, it's about getting buy-in from my folks. Dave still helps me out. Dave still gives me referrals. What do you think? Is he modeling the way? Yes. You see? So in the short run, you know, this guy over here is just going for the bottom line. How is he going to be remembered? In the long run, over here, Dave, and by the way, Dave's company has gone from $56 million to $143 million in the past 2 years. Okay, the other one's corporate owned, and you know they're always like, but that's a different story. I want to share a poem back from the early late 19th century to early 20th century by Edmund Vance Cook. The title is kind of morbid, but this is not the point. If you really listen, if you really open up your hearts to it, you'll get the point. Did you tackle that trouble that came your way with a resolute heart and cheerful? Or hide your face from the light of day with a craven soul and fearful? Oh, our trouble's a ton. Or our trouble's an ounce. Or our trouble is what you make it. And it isn't the fact that you're hurt that counts, but how did you take it? You're beaten to earth? Well, well. What's that? Get up. Get up with a smiling face. It's nothing against you to lay down flat, but to lie there. To lie there. That's disgrace. The harder you're thrown, why the higher you rise. Be proud. Be proud of your blackened eye. It isn't the fact that you're licked that counts. It's how did you fight and why. And though you be done to death, what then? If you battled the best you could, if you played your part in the world of men, let a critic would call it good. Now death comes with a crawl, or it comes with a pounce. And whether he's slow or spry, it isn't the fact that you're dead that counts, but how did you live? And why? How did you live? Did you live a life of purpose? Did you live a life of servant leadership? Did you lead a life where before anything came out of your mouth, you thought about these three simple little things? Is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? You know, I found out at a marriage retreat that I didn't have to be right all the time. And the counselor challenged me and just hit me between, you know, the eyes and said, Carlos, you can be right or you can be happy. It's your choice. So in the final analysis, what's your life going to say about you? Fulbright scholar, Pulitzer Prize winner, Tony Award winner, Oscar nominee, Emmy Award winner, Pepperdine University graduate, Pepperdine University alumna. In the final analysis, how did you live? And why? Thank you.